Hi, patrons, let's go. So we are going to be working with heron and eagle all summer long. The bird's eye perspective, the honoring of boundaries. There may be places in your life where you are afraid of creating a boundary because you're afraid of the backlash. This comes from childhood conditioning, that when you said no or you became angry, you weren't allowed, you were punished for it. So you have this fear of creating boundaries in your life. Now, that in particular, understanding that boundaries are actually maturity and honoring other people's boundaries is also a sign of maturity. This is just so up in our faces all summer long because it's going to be so heightened emotionally because of what's going on in the world. That projecting upon groups, political leaders, it's just rampant right now. And here's a reminder, if it's hysterical, it's historical. So if you are letting things trigger you, that is a clear indication that what is triggering you is a mirror to a person or event in your past or a part of yourself that you're not owning. So puzzles to unravel this week, the energy is helping you do that. This week we have snake. It is the shedding of these old identities, the shedding of these old roles that we've been playing. What is a wife? What is a husband? What is a boss? What is an artist? You know, what is it to be a good child? What is it to be a Christian or a Muslim or agnostic or atheist? What is it to be spiritual? What is it to be on the right side of history? All of these things up for review, for you to really ask, who are you really? I mean, it's that existential, you guys. This summer is priming us to shed all of these false identities that we adopted because we thought we had to, because that's what made mom or dad happy, or that's what makes our partner happy, and we're too afraid to be alone. The fear of death and the fear of being alone keeps people in terrible situations. Your job is to find the security and stability and trust of your own self, that you're actually okay with whatever's gonna happen. Now, that could be like, oh my God, Lynn, how could you say that? What about nuclear war? What about, my partner dying? Yeah. Our job is to be so trusting of self, so in faith that we are taken care of and protected even through death, because that is a part of our journey. You can't get away from it. That yes, you maintain a peace when there could be chaotic outcomes. That's the way that I survived what happened this summer. There was not, there was a couple times when I cried because I was really frustrated at my inability to move. But the way I survived was by getting comfortable with how chaotic it had become. Getting comfortable with, no matter how this goes, if I lose my legs, if I'm not ever able to walk again, if they have to amputate, if they, whatever, that I will just be so happy to be alive, that it's all going to be okay. These things that you think you have to have and need, and the outcomes that you think have to happen, and these duties you think that you have to, achieve to be worthy, it's all bullshit. It really is. At the end of the day, you have one job, which is to maintain your peace and your joy no matter what is going on around you. That is the task. It is that simple. Everything else is noise. The snake is calling us this week to shed. And it's not an offering. It's becoming a demand, because the physical body is no longer going to be able to carry all these false mantles. You will feel it more and more physically. Now, this snake has some eggs that it's clutching. You only get these eggs if you shed the skin. This new moon is only fortuitous, lucky, and abundant, like all the astrologers are talking about. If you have released your immaturity, and particularly, I'm specifically talking about emotional immaturity. I'm raising he's 10 years old right now, my child. And I'm having to teach him how to self-regulate his emotions. And as I'm doing it, what I'm realizing is there are just adults walking around of all ages who have no idea how to emotionally self-regulate. This is why I'm speaking about America. It's the most addicted this country has ever been. It's the most disassociated this country has ever been. There is more projection of repressed emotions happening than ever before. You don't get the goodies that are coming, the goodies of peace, of being aligned with your creative energy, of being really feeling that you're on your purpose. If you were offloading to other people to fill your cup, to soothe you, to validate your worth, to tell you that you're good, to tell you that you belong, you won't get to the juice of this new moon. There are all these gifts within it, but it requires structure, maturity, discipline emotionally. Let's see what our plant ally is. Okay. Interesting. Angel's trumpet, death, the end. This is my favorite flower, by the way. And I've always been like, why is my favorite flower signal death? This is why. Because just like the snake who sheds its skin and rebirths itself, that is the key word of all snake totem spirit medicine. Rebirth. Continuous rebirth. Every night we go to sleep, we wake up, we're reborn, we get to start over. Even the larger cycle of our soul, constant death and rebirth. And what did I say? Most of the shit we get ourselves into is because we're afraid of being alone and we're afraid of dying. And ultimately, the fear of death is that fear of being alone. Because you have no spiritual connection. So you aren't secure in what happens to you after life. Because you're not cultivating your soul. I'm not saying that that's what's happening with all of you. But this is the theme right now that we're all being questioned and pointed at. Are you cultivating a security within that only comes by acknowledging that you are a soul having a human experience? And if you aren't comfortable with the fact that you're going to pass and you are acting out of the fear of that moment, everything you do is going to be false and will not last. This week asks you to look at your relationship to death. As we look at, these countries at war, like, we're already in it, you guys. Who are we kidding? People are talking like World War III. Yeah, we're in it. Hindsight, we'll be able to place the date of when it all started. We're in it. Are you going to let it disrupt your calm, your joy? Because your job is, no matter what's going on around you, to maintain that. And if you can't, that's the work. That's where you have work to do. It's that simple. Valerian, acceptance. Valerian is an herb that people use to help them relax when they can't fall asleep. It's an incredibly intense smell, valerian. Too much of it can make you throw up. It's a purgative. And it's interesting that its key word is acceptance. Because there are two truths in this world. One, you will lose something or someone that you love. Two, you will die. That's how bare bones the energy of this week is and going through July. With war going on around you, sure, you have an excuse to be a hot mess. You can use all sorts of things to justify immature, addictive, codependent behavior. But I want to encourage you to be different. And instead, let it do the opposite. Because peace is only manifest on the earth if individuals are finding that within themselves. That is the work that we do as an individual and a collective. Our crystal. So if some of you are having a hard time, right, we have all these allies to help us in this process. That's the thing. We have the spirits of the animal kingdom, right? It's real medicine if you meditate on them. We also have all of these plant allies. Most of pharmaceuticals are mimicry from the natural world. Valerian is here to help you calm your nerves until you can do it yourself. Just like we had two plants, we have two stones. Emerald, prosperity. So interesting. My favorite stone and my favorite flower have come up. So there are these places in this week where the synchronicity is going to be, oh, okay, I'm on the right path. That's how you know. Emerald is the vibration. We've talked about green. You know, earlier in the spring, I made a whole post about the vibration of green and the color and what it means. Here we are again. Rewatch that. Green is, or I think it was a writing. It is the color of the energy center of our heart. The heart's magnetic field is enormous. It is the cultivator of our toroidal field that is around us energetically. If your heart center is weak, this is where we label people as like narcissists or sociopaths when the heart center is closed. And these type of people mimic intimacy. They mimic what they think love looks like. It's not real. Getting this stone asks us, what does having an open heart center look like and feel like? Is my heart center open? Am I performing love to validate my worth, to stay within the tribe? Or am I truly giving of my soul without expectation of anything in return? That is the vibration of emerald. As the emerald, a heart chakra crystal, opens you up to the abundance of the universe as long as what you want is your heart's desire, not your mind's desire, not your ego identity's desire, but your heart's desire, your soul's desire. Most people don't know the difference, and they think that whatever they want would be their heart's desire. That's not true. For most people, the ego is what's running the business. What do I mean by ego? I mean the false self we created to keep our inner child safe because it was wounded and those wounds are frozen. Affirmation: I have a prosperous mindset. I know that I live in an abundant universe and that I will flourish, grow, and succeed no matter what is going on around me. That's what I'm talking about. Mookaite. Mookaite is known as the anti-aging stone because it brings renewed energy and vitality. It gives you a spring in your steps and keeps you young at heart. Mookaite promotes a sense of adventure and the exuberance to try new things. The new moon. Health-wise, Mookaite fortifies the immune system, heals wounds, and purifies the blood. You know, I'm creating this course, The Mood School, and there's, you know, a section about depression. Most of us are sitting on an incredible amount of trapped life force energy because we are numbing ourselves and not releasing the emotional charge that we've been carrying possibly for decades. And most people don't know how to let it go. When we stop faking, we have this release where a vacuum is created and this pure source energy floods in that's actually coming from within you. This is an energy where you don't need the coffee and the energy drinks and the whatever. It is a self-sustaining energy because you're aligned and not wasting your energy by trying to be something that you're not. This week, there's going to be these peaks, like these little, like, where you feel this. Because perhaps you drop something, you try something new, you stop acting like, I don't know, what's an example? I mean, I know in my life, like, I just, I'm here to hold my signal so that others learn how to hold their signal. And I can see where, you know, there's people in my family that may be difficult because it's no longer, there's no approval I'm needing or wanting. And, you know, being the youngest of 5, you know, that's sort of a pattern or a role that I was given. I don't play that role anymore. I'm not looking for others' approval. I'm not looking for anyone to mirror back my worth. That's my internal job. I'm not looking for the entertainment industry to give me a job so I feel productive. That's not the way it works anymore. All of those are my responsibility. As you know, I'm working with clients, and as I'm creating this Mood School course, it's really clear that, you know, this inundation of distractions could really propel a lot of people into collapse because their actual mental, emotional, and spiritual foundations are being completely neglected. And the cacophony of politics and what's happening in our world, people can so easily justify, well, I'm trying to keep track of. No. That's not in your control. What is in your control? Your signal, your tone. What you choose to feel, what you choose to think, who you choose to be with. This week, the question is it real? Is it true? Are you doing things in a selfless way? Or have you positioned things to where like it's about what you can get to distract yourself from maybe how full of grief you are or how ashamed you are or how angry you are, how disappointed you may be. It's all valid. But you have a responsibility to bring it to consciousness, to let it go. Okay. I'm going to pull one from one more deck. Haven't pulled from this deck since I started reading again, so. Right away, cornucopia. Astrology-wise, this new moon is conjunct Jupiter. Like the most auspicious new moon of the year, really. But it's in square, so intense relationship to Saturn, which is also conjunct Neptune. So as much as it's auspicious, this cornucopia has to be filtered through. Where are you being delusional and addictive? And where are you not being mature and disciplined? If you are on it and you have transmuted those addictive tendencies to spiritual elevation, if you are on it and you have taken whatever you feel as blockages and you've created discipline, structure, then this is what you get. Bounty, benevolence. Not just monetary, emotional and energetic. But you got to shed the old. It's like you have to make room for all of that. Look, that's so much. You can't hold this goodness if you're all backed up with all this old patterning. Are you guys going to send comments? Wow, Lynn, you were so intense today. Get used to it, people. This is where it's all going. Okay. Thank you for being here. This is where we get to go deep, and we did go deep. So please, comments below. We are now working with eagle, heron, and snake. Boundaries, the bird's eye perspective, and the shedding of the old. See you next time.